Hello, and welcome to FinInvest Niger. My name is Tom Princeville. I'm a certified securities and investment specialist, and I've been investing for the past 20 years. In the course of this video, I want to carry out a comparative analysis between National Aviation Handling Company, NAHCO, and Sky Aviation Nigerian PLC. These two companies are featured in the aviation sector of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and their operations are quite similar. And I want to take this moment to actually analyze them one by one and arrive at their suitability for your investment portfolio. So let me start with NAHCO here. I will take them in tandem, take them in unison. This is National Aviation Handling Company, NAHCO, and this other one is Sky Aviation Nigerian PLC. So let's start with their share price. The share price of NAHCO here is 116 naira, whereas that of Sky Aviation is 128 naira 60 kubu. That's 1 naira 16 kubu as against 128 naira 60 kubu. So in this case, NAHCO is less expensive, slightly less expensive than Sky Aviation. We now come to the market capitalization, and the market cap here simply means the company share price multiplied by the number of shares outstanding. So in this case, for NAHCO, you multiply 116 naira times 1.949 billion. That will give you the market cap here. And in the case of the Sky Aviation, you multiply the price here, 128 naira 60 kubu times 1.354 billion naira. That will give you the market capitalization for Sky Aviation. So in this case, NAHCO has a market cap of 226 billion naira, and then as against 174 billion naira for Sky Aviation. So in this case, you discover that NAHCO is a higher capitalized company compared to Sky Aviation, in as much as the price is even lower than that of Sky Aviation. We now come to the full year revenue. The full year revenue, that's we are making it we're considering 2025 as well as 2024. So for 2024 full year, NAHCO made a turnover of 53.54 billion naira. 53.54 billion naira was the turnover for NAHCO. Then for Sky Aviation, the same period, the turnover here was 28.94 billion. 28.94 billion. So clearly, you discover that NAHCO had a higher turnover. You compare 53.54 billion as against 28.94 billion. So NAHCO is clearly, the highest in this particular category. So we now consider the revenue for 2025. You realize that NAHCO had made a revenue of 65.21 billion, 65.21 billion as against 53.54 billion, and the figure for NAHCO here for Sky Aviation here is 44.46 billion naira. So you compare 65.21 as against 44.46 billion. NAHCO still has a higher figure when it comes to revenue. Now, we want to also highlight the full year profit for the companies. The full year profit here for NAHCO was 18 billion naira in the year 2025, as against 11.73 billion naira for Sky Aviation. Then for the year 2024, NAHCO made a profit of 12.86 billion naira as against 4.83 billion naira for Sky Aviation. So NAHCO is still, higher when it comes to the profits obtained compare this, 12.86 billion compared to 4.83 billion for Sky Aviation. We now come here, 18 billion naira as against 11.73 billion naira for Sky Aviation. So NAHCO is still higher. We come to the earnings per share. This actually is the most important parameter when it comes to analyzing company. The earning per share tells you precisely the level of dividend the company will pay, as well as the future, share price trajectory. Usually, whenever there is an increase in earning per share, it tells you that the company is bound to increase in the future. So in this case, you discover that by the year 2025, NAHCO had an earning per share of 9 naira 24 kobo as against 8 naira 67 kobo for Sky Aviation. Then for the year 2024, Sky Aviation had an earning per share of 3 naira 57 kobo as against 6 naira 60 kobo for NAHCO. So even when you consider both parameters here, you discover that NAHCO is still, has a higher figure. You look at it here, 6 naira 60 kobo as against 3 naira 57 kobo. You come to the year 2025, you have 9 naira 27 kobo as against 8 naira 67 kobo. So you discover that NAHCO is still higher. All right. So we now come to a particular factor that determines how cheap or how expensive the company is, which is the PE ratio in this particular context. So the PE ratio essentially is the price of the company divided by its earnings. If you divide the share price here for NAHCO, which is 1 naira 16 kobo, if you divide it by the earning per share, all right, you have this particular figure, okay? And so you also divide the price of Sky Aviation, which is 128 naira 60 kobo. If you divide it by 8 naira 67 kobo, you are going to arrive at 14 naira 83 kobo. 14 naira 83 kobo. So when you consider them side by side, you discover that despite the fact that NAHCO has higher figures all through, when you consider the earnings, you consider the profit as well as the turnover, and NAHCO has a higher figure, you should discover that NAHCO is still cheaper in the sense that the PE ratio here is 12.55 as against 14.83 for Sky Aviation. So from this particular analysis now, you could deduct that NAHCO is a better investment candidate. When it comes to this particular analysis, NAHCO has a better advantage and a better prospects, and it's even cheaper than Sky Aviation by this particular PE ratio standard. So usually in a case like this, all right, you discover that the figures here are somewhat close. Okay, so if you still like both companies, let's say you have 2 million naira to invest and you still appreciate both companies, all right, you may choose to either put, maybe you can put 1.5 here and 500,000 here, or you can put 1.2 here and 800,000 naira here, or you can put 1.3 here and 700,000 naira here for your 2 million naira investments. If you want to pick both of them, if you want to pick only one of them, you could put the entire money in NAHCO. But if I were you, at least since both companies are doing well, they are quite they are they have prospects actually when it comes to future earnings and growth as well as dividends. I would advise you can split your money into two companies in the ratio I earlier highlighted, either 1.2 by 800 or 1.3 by 700 or 1.5 and then 500,000, making it 2 million naira in all. So it's all left for you. Although this particular analysis is for educational purpose actually, but you can still, go ahead if you so wish and make this individual company, these companies, parts and parcel of your portfolio. So thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video, share it as well, because my heart desire is to reach out to 1 million Nigerians with this particular investment message, telling them about the inherent wealth creation activity, potentials in the Nigerian stock exchange. And I'm really, really depending on you for me to be able to reach out to a wider audience. Thank you very much for watching.